At a time when China and the U.S. remain firmly divided on issues including Taiwan, Minister for Foreign Affairs Nayan Kharka left for the northern neighboring country with a strong delegation at the invitation of his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. Even as Nepal's agenda of the visit is not elaborated, foreign experts view that Beijing has been aiming to boost support from its friendly nations following U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's recent visit to Taiwan. Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Parties prioritize their own interests for seat share in the ruling coalition. CPN Maoist Center, the hurdle for Nepali Congress's aspirations of majority. CPN UML focusing on breaking the coalition. Foreign Minister Nayan Kharka in China amid intensifying tensions between the northern neighbor and America to hold talks with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi today. Crimes against humanity continue to be systematically committed in Myanmar, with ongoing conflicts severely impacting women and children. And former world number one Serena Williams to play one last time in the US Open later this month. Announcement comes a day after the 40-year-old wins her first singles in 430 days. The task of dividing seats among the ruling alliance parties for the upcoming provincial and parliamentary elections has proved challenging for the special task force that has a mid-August deadline. Nepali Congress has been eyeing a 60% share, while CPN Maoist Center is looking to become the second most powerful among the five parties. Likewise, the remaining three parties have staked their own claims, while the task force attempts to seek a consensus. The ruling coalition parties have 165 seats at the House of Representatives and 330 at the provincial assemblies to share. Considering the proportionate category as well, Nepali Congress that leads the alliance intends to lock a sole majority. Analysts opine the party's intention to include Loktantrik Samajwadi Party in the coalition is to ensure that it can quit the coalition if required and still maintain a majority at the parliament with the backing of fringe parties. In the meantime, CPN Maoist Center is also looking to become the game changer in the coalition so that Nepali Congress will need to depend on it for its own success. The party has claimed 50% stake for direct seats. Deciding on the share of seats would mean deciding on who gets the post of president, vice president, speaker and deputy speaker, and the chairperson of the National Assembly. With less than a week left to determine the election equation, the Special Task Force has been struggling with the mammoth task of reaching a consensus. At a time when geopolitical interests are intensifying in Nepal, Minister for Foreign Affairs Nayan Kharka left for China with an 11-member delegation yesterday upon the invitation of his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. However, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has not made the agenda of his visit clear. However, the visit amid Chinese concerns over the American aid program MCC Nepal Compact and SPP have been observed with significant interest. This is the first high-level visit by a Nepali delegation to China after the formation of the government led by Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba. 4 government secretaries from the Foreign, Home, Commerce and Fiscal Infrastructure Ministries and 1 joint secretary from the Ministry of Finance have accompanied Minister Kharka, who is also joined by Nepal's ambassador to China, Vishnupukar Shrestha. The delegation is expected to hold talks on topics including Kerung-Kathmandu Railway, reducing Nepal's trade deficit, and Chinese investments. None of the officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs shared anything about the agenda. Minister Kharka is scheduled to hold talks with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi later today, while he wraps up his China visit tomorrow. Experts of diplomacy and international relations have said that Nepal should reap benefits from this visit, which has come in the wake of increasing geopolitical interest in Nepal, active Chinese approach on several issues, and many high-level visits from China to Nepal in recent time. Experts are also of the opinion that China is likely to seek Nepal's renewed commitment to One China policy, considering the recent developments related to the Taiwan visit of U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Prior to this, China had vocally opposed the ratification of the American aid program, the Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC Nepal Compact from the House of Representatives, terming it coercive diplomacy. The Ministry for Agriculture and Livestock Development has been preparing to install laboratories to test the presence of pesticides in 8 additional locations. However, the laboratories will only test pesticides of 2 groups. The ministry, meanwhile, has remained indifferent towards expanding the testing parameters of the laboratories amid increasing import of agricultural produces. In addition to the imported fruits and vegetables, the amount of harmful pesticides used in agricultural produces grown in Nepal has also been increasing. According to government data, around 700 tons of harmful pesticides are being used every year. Despite access to organic pesticides, farmers have been opting for chemical pesticides. Despite extensive use of harmful pesticides, Nepal is among those countries in South Asia using the least amount of chemical pesticides. Around 400 grams of chemical pesticides are used per hectare in Nepal. However, failure in proper use and management of chemical pesticides has put the lives of the general public at risk. The government that advocates for access to healthy food at international platforms had installed 7 fertilizer testing laboratories after widespread condemnation for failing to prevent haphazard use of chemical pesticides. However, pesticides of only 2 groups, organophosphate and carbamate, are tested in those laboratories. Laboratories will now be set up also at the Trivandrum International Airport Customs Office, Tatopani Customs, Rasuagari Customs, Krishnanagar and Gaddachoki Customs offices. Excessive amount of pesticides in food can result in life-threatening diseases including cancer, heart and kidney-related ailments. The government is yet to expand the pesticides testing parameters. The scenario indicates that the government has been toying with the health of the general public. In this context, in our Public Voice segment, we had asked local residents in several provinces what should be done to reduce the use of pesticides in fruits and vegetables. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
कृषकलाई पनि कसरी चाहिँ यहाँ विषादी प्रयोग गर्ने निरुत्साहित गर्ने भन्ने किसिमका पनि मापदण्डहरू तोकेर चाहिँ अगाडि बढियो भने
विषादीहरूले कति असर गर्छ त्यो सम्बन्धी ज्ञान पनि दिने
भन्सारमै त्यसको चेक जाँचको जुन दायरा हुन्छ त्यो बढाउनु पर्ने देखिन्छ
कम रोग लाग्ने किसिमका र कम विषादी युक्त चाहिँ झोलमोलहरू बनाउन सिकाउने
विषादी कम गर्न अब लोकल मोल हालम गाई बस्तुको हालम
उपभोक्ताहरूले पनि चाहिँ एकदम कन्सियस भएर यस कुराको विरोध गर्न सक्नुपर्छ हामीहरूले आफै सचेत पनि हुनुपर्छ
किसानलाई चाहिँ विकल्प दिनु पर्यो सरकारले छानबिन गरेर कारबाही गर्नु पर्यो
यो नगर्दाखेरि हाम्रो तरकारी नष्ट हुन्छ
Lack of awareness among mothers and the society overall has resulted in significant reduction in breastfeeding practice. This has severely affected children's growth and has caused long-term disorders like dwarfism, malnutrition, and anemia, among others. More in this report.
Mother's milk during the first hour of a child's birth has enough nutrition to protect the child from transmissible diseases and reduce child mortality by 33%. However, based on the latest survey carried out by the Ministry of Health and Population, 36% of children below the age of 5 years suffer from dwarfism, 27% are underweight, and 53% are anemic. This, among many other factors, has been attributed to the reducing practice of breastfeeding. A survey carried out in 2016 by the Health Ministry says the number of newlyborns that get breastfed within the first hour of their birth had gone down from 55% to 42%, while the number of babies receiving bottled milk has gone up to 23% from 12%. According to the ministry, 69% of the infants below the age of 6 months in rural areas are breastfed the whole time, while it is 58% in case of urban areas. Health experts suggest for proper growth, a child should be breastfed until the age of 2 years. However, the reducing practice of breastfeeding has caused health problems in many children in recent time.
Sports News.
More than on the grounds, Nepali footballers are found at the Trivandrum International Airport. Members of the national team squad and those who play in the A-Division League are found at TIA, not leaving to participate at the international tournaments. Instead, they are found leaving Nepal in search of better opportunities as they do not see a good career in football in Nepal. Despite the increasing number of players leaving Nepal, the All Nepal Football Association is yet to pay attention to this issue, while the National Sports Council has also remained indifferent. Players currently training at the Anfa complex in Sadobata, Lalitpur are preparing for the selection for the upcoming Under-20 Asia Cup. Coach Meghraj Kesi is worried about retaining the players who recently returned from the SAF Championship held in India. In the absence of regular tournaments at home, many players, including popular names, are also leaving Nepal. Learning from the experiences of the senior players, even the youngsters have begun questioning about their future in football in Nepal. More than a dozen players of the A-Division League and the national team are in Australia. Many others have already received their visa. In such a situation, ANFA has failed in assessing the possible losses to Nepali football. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What is the main challenge for the new head coach of the national cricket team? Your options are A, improving the batting aspect, B, relationship between CAN and players, and C, ensuring better results. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.